Hey guys, welcome back to another video, another podcast with the boys, FPL Discussion and Captain FPL. How we doing, Ollie?
Wood. Yeah, good. Happy to be here. Back on the mic.
Back on the mic, exactly. So today we're going to be talking some pre-season stuff. I think obviously everyone says don't look at pre-season, but we're going to look at pre-season. It has to be done. I think mainly see which players looking nice and lovely jubbly, and also the teams, the starting 11s is also very important to work out. Make sure to check out social media. We've got Captain FPL1 for my Twitter and Discussion FPL on Twitter for Ollie and FPL Discussion on Instagram. Make sure to check them out.
Yeah.
Also, lots of useful stuff. So yeah, let's just crack into it, Ollie. Let's start from in alphabetical order. We'll start with bloody Arsenal. The most annoying team in the world. North London's red. No, it's not red. It's not. It's white. It's quite clearly white.
No, come on. Let's be honest. Arsenal are in the Champions League. Let's just get out there first.
They just are. Right. Anyway. So, from my notes, I want to say, Aubameyang. He's looking quite good. I think. Could you agree on that?
Yeah, he looks good, but I'm not tempted by him. I've not been good enough to where he tempts me.
Exactly, like as a score hat trick.
Even at his own price, I'd rather have Kane, not just because of bias. Just they do the thing I can't admit about them is they got two good fixtures, but then they got something like Liverpool and Spurs, and they always rotate weirdly, and I don't fancy it.
Exactly, but what about even with I think it was last game, Lacazette came off about the 60-minute mark with a injury, and he's got like a leg cast thing.
I think that's just going to be like a precaution. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts the first game anyway. And if Pepe comes in, one, it could mean Aubameyang leaves, potentially to United.
Yeah. That's very
true. And I just think it could cause weird rotation, especially. I know it's looking a bit more forward here, but especially when Europa League starts, it's very difficult to predict with them.
Exactly. And I think also with the creativity in the midfield has always been very limited. I think that's a one thing. I think when I had Aubameyang in last season, I got very frustrated because he would score 15 points, and the next week he'll blank for like the next two, and it's just like you don't want that. Whereas Kane is very consistent, so want to watch. And then also the same old rubbish defense. They cannot defend their lives at all.
I don't get it. They're spending all this money, they just won't buy a new. Well, they got Saliba, but he's being loaned back.
Yeah,
I don't get. I just think if you got a defense that bad, as good as your attack is, and this is just in terms of winning games, it might not matter because if your strikers just misfire in one day and maybe only get one goal, because your defense is so bad, you're just going to lose games.
Exactly.
Definitely won't be going near their defense. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a bit like Norwich. I think they can get goals, but I don't think about the defense. But we'll come on to them later on. Next, Aston Villa. Now, when they went and won 5-1 against a lower league opposition, I'm not sure why everyone went so bloody mental. I mean, obviously great to see some of their assets playing well. We've got Wesley, in there. We've got some of their midfielders. We've got lots of midfielders in the cheaper price bracket. But I don't know about you, but I think everyone just needs to calm down. I mean, they're a promoted side, for goodness sake.
Yeah, to be fair, I actually did look at Matt Target at one point. I can't lie, but I'm off him now. Don't you worry. But yeah, I can see it. I don't know why I think because they made a lot of signings, people think they're going to be good. But all you have to do is look at Fulham. They were terrible and they made loads of signings.
Exactly.
So they'll take time to gel. And I mean, if it works and they just seem to get going early doors, and I'm got no issue with people seeing that they're doing well, then getting their players. But when there's not much to go off and you're just going off a few signings, not thinking about how it takes a lot more than a few preseason games to gel, I think they're going to struggle. And it's not the Championship where you can buy loads of players and do well like Wolves did when they were there. In the Prem, when they're playing teams like Spurs first week, if they're not gelled and got good chemistry, they will get turned over.
Exactly.
But again, I can see the hype, but I would just say, wait. I mean, if you're rotating, that's one thing. But if you've got no bench and you're starting, I don't know, Grealish or Matt Target or is it Gilbert, the new guy?
Yeah.
Then you just got to be careful that there's nothing really to go off in terms of them having a good defense. It's just the fact they bought people that are good individuals, but that doesn't make the good defense as a team. If you see where I'm coming from.
Well, let's jump on to Bournemouth. Bournemouth. I think a lot of focus has been on their assets. I think everyone was like, King, the bargain option. What does Wilson do the first game? He scores 2 goals, doesn't he? Of course he does.
Mate, Wilson is where it's at. I did a video ages ago. I don't realize how much better. He's literally just better than King in like every stat. And I know stats aren't everything, but when your points per match, conversion rate, goals, everything's just higher. You know, you're the better striker, let's just be honest. And everyone knows it just from the eye test, just from watching them. King can either play him behind or drift a bit wider. Wilson, if you look at his heat maps, is normally pretty far forward. He gets more assists. Yeah. I know he's a bit more expensive, but I think it's worth it. And you've got to attack those first 2 fixtures. You know, if you can get Sheffield United and Aston Villa, you might as well get the best possible options. That's what I've actually got. Fraser as well. I just think they're such good fixtures. You might as well just capitalise on them while you can, not try and get cover. You might as well just get the best possible players to get the most possible points. And then again, if they're misfiring, we do have transfers, which I think some people forget. So I think it's definitely Wilson. Very
true. I mean, I think everyone was getting very excited when they saw it was King in an interview.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, I really want to score 20 goals a season." And I'm thinking, all right, cool. You can say everything, but you got to do it as well.
He did also say it was on penalties, but then he also said, which I think a few people have not looked at. He said something about being honest or something like that. And he basically said, if I go on an international break, play 2 matches of a full game and come back, I need to have the honesty to tell the manager I'm not the best. Like something, I don't know the exact quote, but again, I know. And again, for people who aren't, I know you're playing to wildcard early, but if you don't want to use it too early, there's a break after game week 4. That means within the first 5 game weeks, you might already see that have to worry about him being benched, and that's not really ideal. He's not cheap enough to where you don't mind if he's benched. You want him playing every game. I know it's a little thing, but things that just tilt it more and more in Wilson's favour.
Exactly. I mean, he's 27 now, King. So he's maturing a little bit and he's understanding what his body can do. And I mean, Solanke has now got the number 9 shirt, so maybe he will be rotated. But King, who knows? And Ryan Fraser again. He's still supplying pre-season. My only one thing I'd like to say is David Brooks. He picked up an injury in the last game that he played, and I think he was in a couple of managers' side. He was in mine, but I think Fraser, you got to have him and Wilson. That partnership is lethal. You got to have them.
One point I think is a good one to make. A lot of people seem to think you can get cover for attackers. You can't really. The other person's still going to score whatever they're going to score, and just because, let's say you want cover for Wilson, by getting King, it does not cover Wilson. If Wilson's going to score 2 goals, that doesn't mean King is also going to get 2 assists because of it. Defense is one thing, because let's say you want Stones as City cover at the back. If they get a clean sheet, he also gets a clean sheet. But if Wilson scores, it does not mean King gets the assist, or if Wilson gets an assist, it does not mean King scores. So I think people that look into cover, I'm not sold on that logic.
Very, very true. Right, let's move on to Brighton. Now, before we start with Brighton, I want to say, Graham Potter, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm really sorry. I was very, very mean in our podcast about where they were positioned in the league table. And actually, looking at them pre-season, I know it's pre-season, but they look quite intriguing. I think one player I would love to talk about, Trossard, 3 assists last game. What are we saying?
I have got 2 Brighton players on my team, but I think with them, the thing with them is their fixtures are decent. Like you look in the first 5, they've got 3 home games, and they're West Ham, Southampton, Burnley. They're pretty good fixtures for defence and attack, really.
Yeah.
I don't want to put too much money into Brighton because it's Brighton. But I'm definitely getting more and more interested. And I think with Trossard, some people just don't adapt to the Prem. Some players just do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it some time. If we see he's just a baller, and I've got no, I don't mind putting him in. I'm happy to put him in, but I probably won't be starting with him. But yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Get him in the watch list.
Definitely. And also, our man Pascal Gross, he's looking good as well. I think goal and
Would you?
assist in pre-season, looking very, very nice.
Yeah, Groshy's a bit of a baller, and he's always going to have set pieces on his side. So he's not, he can have a terrible game, but he could still get you 7-8 points if he just finds himself on a penalty. I'm quite interested in the striker. If Locadia plays, I think he's 5.5 million.
Mm.
Which again, if people are, I think as the game gets close, people start to get stronger benches. I think people are realising Greenwood probably isn't going to play.
Mm.
I'm looking to potentially upgrade Greenwood just to have someone playing. If I see Locadia playing at 5.5 million, it's not too much for someone who you can just put in for a fixture every 2 or 3 games. I mean, it's not a bad little option, I don't think.
Oh no, definitely. I think yeah, you're right. The bench it's in the 4.5 million striker bracket. There's not really anyone that can definitely say they're gonna play. So I agree with you. I think it's an interesting thought. Let's move on to Burnley now. I think I'll be overlooking their strikers, Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood. Chris Wood has been sensational.
Didn't someone score a hat trick yesterday?
Chris Wood did.
Yeah, I think it's a norm with Burnley because they've got the strikers are always underlooked because underlooked, that's not even a word, is
Overlooked.
it? Overlooked, that's the one. Their strikers are decent players, but everyone looks at Burnley for the defence. We always forget about they've actually got some good attackers that pretty much nailed, and they're teasing us with that opening fixture, home to Southampton, who are decent going forward, but not that great defensively. And there could be goals, but then when you've got Arsenal. Was it Arsenal, Wolves both the way after that?
Yes.
Yeah, and then
Arsenal, Wolves away,
Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then after that again they get a bit better, but again there's no rush to jump on those players. At least we know their options and you can think about transferring them in, but I would say for them just stay away. Well, not stay away, but I wouldn't worry about them now, but definitely another team and option to keep in your considerations, sort of your transfers around game week 4 or 5.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I mean, on my notes here from that I wrote down last night, I said goalkeeper situation is not clear, but Heaton supposedly going to Villa for 9 million. So, Nicholas Pope, is he the man? That is the question.
Nicholas Pope is indeed the man. He's in my team already.
Yeah.
And I don't really. I mean, to be honest though, I'm rotating him with Ryan. So realistically, Pope's not actually going to play more than one game in the first 4 for me. But after that, he's got such nice fixtures. He'll make a lot of saves. He's definitely he just is a good option. Doesn't everyone will know he's going to do a good job there. Also, you say that I'm just intrigued to get your thoughts. Now that you said that, I've just thought, does it also make Pope a decent option? Villa, like we said, I know they're promoted, but we know he'll make saves.
Tom Heaton.
Yeah, at Villa, they've got a lot of they've got a lot of decent fixtures in their first of 8. I don't know, could be. We never know. Maybe we rotate Pope and Heaton.
Exactly. I mean, I'm always a bit shaky about trusting promoted teams defensively to start with, but yeah, I think. Now you've got Mings and Heaton, well, potentially Heaton in the defence, then again, I think, yeah, you're right. That'll be a very cheeky little rotation, but possibly. So they'll have to wait and see. So Chelsea, I've said here, they're a bit of a mixed bag. They're quite difficult to predict. They've been a bit up and down in pre-season, but the youth talent looking nice. What do you think about some of their assets?
I'm interested. I'm definitely interested. Because their most sort of attacking options are all quite cheap. I think they're most expensive for like 7 mil.
Yeah.
So you've got strikers at 7 mil, and once we know who's nailed, when the fixtures are not bad, I think we'll definitely have to keep an eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the number 10 role, who is either going to be Mount or Barkley, again tempting.
Very interesting. I mean, Barkley, he scored. I mean, obviously there was a big trap last season, and I just want to say, sorry, Dad, I love you. When it's when Barkley got that absolute madness, thinking really early on, he got like 18 points in the game. And Dad's like, Jack, should I get in Barkley? I'm like, yeah, go on then. And then what happened? He just blanks. I'm like, yeah, decent. But he scored a very nice free kick against Reading, and he said he's hungry for goals. Again, you could say everything, but it looks good. I think 6 million, because there's in the 6 million bracket, it's not really been a standout option. But again, I'm not going to fall into the trap. I think what I'm going to do, because if you look at their, because I'm going to wild card between 4 and 5. So I think United away tricky, Leicester at home tricky, but then they got the Norwich away and Sheffield United at home. And those are the two I'll be very interested in to see how they perform. And then I don't know, I might because I have Wolves away in game week 5 and Liverpool home in 6, but from 7 to 12, very nice fixtures. So I think we're going to have to watch them.
We'll see who's starting, which will help.
Because also the striker situation. I mean, Abraham.
Yeah, so basically, I think we know Pulisic is going to play on the right. Also, Hudson-Odoi at 7 mil is going to be a tempting treat when he comes back.
6 million.
What did I say?
7 million.
Sorry. But yeah, once we know who's the nailed number 9 and 10, basically, so let's just say it's Batshuayi and Mount, then we can sort of really look at them as actual transfer ins. While they're still sort of awkward, in and out, we don't want to risk it. Because the worst thing for them is because they have good fixtures after 2 or 3. If you get one of them in and the fixtures are good, it's very hard to transfer them out because you're saying just in case they come back in, and then you're just stuck in this awkward situation where you've got a player that might not even play, but you can't really take them out because of the fixture.
Exactly, yeah.
And I had that a lot last year, and I do not want that again.
Very true. And also another thing I've said, the penalty situation, it was still a bit unsure. I haven't seen a penalty yet in pre-season. Everyone's thinking it's Jorginho, but
I hope it's not. It'd be funny.
It would be quite funny because
everyone's literally going. Everyone's thinking 5 mil for Jorginho is a good thing, a good prize. But if he's not on penalties, that is just one of the worst ways you can spend your 5 million.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think, again, apparently he's got a new role under Lampard, but we have to see this. I think is again Chelsea and United are both wait and sees for me. So yeah, let's go on to Palace. Palace has been they look poor without AWB and Zaha.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what are your if Zaha leaves? I mean, he's been linked with Everton, he's linked with Arsenal, but it looks like he might stay. If he stays, do you think that will boost the prospects of Palace? I mean, it won with one player's difference.
I think it's always a bit of an awkward one because you want to see what the effect, as in if someone comes in, like what's it going to do?
Yeah, because obviously he's a talisman. He has the biggest effect on the team.
The problem with him is we can't really know because he's not going to play a pre-season game by the looks of things, and then you've basically got to try and work it out in the season. That's just the worst thing because then at least now, obviously we've all got unlimited transfers right now, so we can sort of play around with our squads. And I know a few. I've had Zaha on my squads, and I've had a few Palace options, but again, I still feel like there's a lot we don't fully know about them. Not just that. Even at the back, Saka's now back, and we don't know who's going to play, and suddenly Kelly's not looking good. And it's annoying that they really haven't. They're a team very tough to predict what they're going to do. I mean, I wonder if they might go 5 at the back. I don't think they will, but they just seem to. I don't know. I don't feel like they've invested. They've already got loads of money from Wan-Bissaka. They might get a shed load more for Zaha. They haven't signed anyone, have they?
No,
they have. Not relevant.
So. No.
And I haven't heard them. I haven't seen them being linked all over the place. I just think it's a weird situation at Palace.
Could be on the way down if things don't change.
I've actually got a Palace player, to be fair, but I'm worried about them.
I mean, I do as well, but I think I'm just going to give it close to the deadline once we know.
Give it gigs there.
What the team is. Anyway, Everton, probably the biggest amount of notes I've got in I'm on them. So we're going to start with the defensive situation. So Idrissa Gueye, he's gone to PSG. Zuma looks like he's staying at Chelsea. So can we back Everton for those lovely, lovely clean sheets?
To be honest, even as a Dignan, I'll probably say no. But I think you get Everton assets for the little bit of everything, a little bit of fixtures, a little bit of defensive promise, a little bit of attacking promise. Even a defender like Digne and Coleman, you're sort of getting them not only because yes they can get clean sheets because the fixtures are so good, but they also have attacking potential. And we also don't know what Everton we're going to get. If we can get the Everton that ended last year very well, then I think we're all going to need at least one Everton defender because they were superb defensively.
Oh yeah.
And in their first 14, they've got 2 top 6 sides. They're both at home, and you just think. I mean, I think you sort of can rely on them, and I kind of leaned off them a bit, and now I'm back on them. And it's all a bit. I can't decide. But Crystal Palace away at this rate, their striker's going to be someone like Benteke with, I don't know, Schlapp playing off him, and I'd feel fairly confident in a clean sheet. Watford, Villa, Wolves, Bournemouth, the next 4. Did I say Wolves? I meant Wolves. They're the tricky 4 to predict because they're all actually quite good attacking sides. But again, if they can just get 1 or 2 in there, and you hope for some attacking returns, I think you could be getting your sort of value for money in the defence. But so yeah, I haven't really come to a conclusion there, but it's very hard to decide on Everton.
Yep.
Because we don't know what Everton will get.
Yeah, I mean, we've watched a couple of clips of their pre-season without Idrissa Gueye, and I actually am not too fussed defensively. I think Fabian Delph's obviously come in. I think, and him and Gomez, I think it was against Sevilla. I was reading some comments in it, and there were people saying nothing is getting past them. Things like Delph's he loses possession sometimes, but when it comes to defending the goal, nothing gets past. I mean, they lost. I think only 1-0, and it was by a penalty. So I think defensively they might be right because if you look at the flip side of it, attacking wise, they look very lackluster. I think Siggy's been a bit poor. DCL not looking at it. Obviously, Richardson's going to come back in the team, but then we go to the transfer news of Keane from Juventus.
Was he?
Keane.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. The thing is, I think when people see transfer, they instantly think of the player coming in. You've got to look at actually the squad as a whole.
Yeah.
So let's say Keane comes at 6.5 or 7, then yeah, we'll be tempted, and he could do because if people like Jota and King and Delafeu proven Premier League players at that price, why wouldn't someone who has only really had half of a good season be that price? So I'm hopeful he'll be low, but again, they probably will put him at like 7.5, 8. So at that point, you might get, right, it's too much money to risk it, and people just trying to forget about it. But then you don't realise a good striker is going to influence Richarlison, it's going to influence Sigurdsson, it's going to influence Digne, it's going to influence everyone, and it will, influence everyone from goalkeeper, striker, a new signing. So I think people forgetting this will impact Sigurdsson. It could increase his assists. It could decrease Richarlison's goals. We don't fully know yet how he's going to adapt and how it's going to affect their team. Because you'd assume he'll start over DCL. So it's an interesting one.
It's very interesting. Have to monitor it. Leicester, again, looking pretty good in pre-season. I'd say 2 things. Vardy and Tielemans partnership, it's continued. We saw soon as Tielemans came back in the side, he got a lovely little assist for Vardy's goal.
He scored as well, hasn't he?
He scored as well, yeah. And also, let's talk about Ayoze Perez out of position.
Though people haven't been following them, which are probably quite a few, they change up their formations quite a lot, and then I thought they went into a diamond against Stoke, which was the other day, and which basically saw Perez playing the front 2 with Vardy. Now, I don't think they will continue this diamond, but if they do, then you can be sure that Perez is going to become almost essential. 6.5 million as a midfielder, if you're playing as a striker in a front 2, and he's a good striker as well. We saw him score a lot of goals in Newcastle, or in a bad team. as much as I know Vardy's a good option, if you just think a 6.5 million, so whatever it is, 2.5 million less, you're getting an extra point for goals, you're getting clean sheet points potentially. I think he's going to become a very tempting treat if he's a striker. If he's not, he'll either be probably as a right wing or playing just in behind Vardy. And I think that's where he is going to play. And that's why Vardy probably is still the better option if you can afford it. But again, if we do see a start the season and Perez goes up top with Vardy, that will definitely make for a very good option as a 6.5 midfielder.
You've said everything I would love to say. Well done, Ollie. That was perfect. So let's talk about Liverpool.
Liverpool.
You know, I think everyone got
disappointing.
A bit disappointing. Yeah, that defense was
I saw a tweet this morning saying, and it was you got to bear in mind, it was a GIF. Right? It was a GIF of someone celebrating. No, it was a GIF of Klopp laughing and celebrating. And it basically said, and it was a Liverpool fan. They said, "Me and all the other realists when Klopp gets fired in December." Right. And I couldn't believe that. He's just won the bloody European title.
Exactly.
Which I'm still not over as a year. I'm still not over it, but whatever. I think they've been disappointing defensively, but it's hard to judge them attacking because Salah and that, and they've all just come back into training, and I think they actually play tonight, so we'll know probably when this video goes out, I'd assume. So yeah, we'll see. I think they'll all play a bit, and the Community Shield will give us a nice sort of judge of the players. And
yeah,
I think the thing is, I think Salah, if he's going to play some minutes tonight, he'll play some more against City. You'd assume he'll start against Norwich. Whereas Mane, I think he comes back to training after City, so I really would be surprised if they put him if they start him against Norwich, and if they do, if he plays more than 45 to 60 minutes. So again, they're hard to judge, but defensively they look awful. Some of that is because they don't have their attackers, because they press so well and they keep the ball, and it just causes a lot of pressure for the defence. So again, you can't fully assume is how they're going to be. It has made me sort of reconsider doubling up at the back, just sort of like a precaution. They've got the Super Cup game week between game week 1 and 2. There's just a few things that aren't looking too great for Liverpool. So I would I don't blame people for not tripling up right now in Liverpool, especially as it's very expensive. Yeah. But I also would advise people not to get too carried away with worrying about pre-season.
Very, very true. I think, yeah, I've experienced the doubling up of Liverpool defence last season. I think this year my tactic is to, unless it's a double game week, not to triple up on one team, because it's a lot of risk. If they perform badly, you've just lost a load of points. That's my problem. If you have two defensive assets, they both get clean sheets, brilliant. You've got 12 points there. But if they don't, then you're stuffed pretty much. But Robbo and Trent look very good, so we can they're putting lots of crosses in. So we don't.
Are we just a question because I haven't seen your notes. Is Norwich in it later?
Yes.
Okay, because one thing I would say, and we'll go into it more, Norwich look pretty poor defensively. So Salah captain is a very, very promising thing, and I wouldn't be like, I'm not going to do it myself. I wouldn't blame people for even triple captaining. I know it's very early, but some people will do it, and I don't blame them for it.
Exactly. I think, yeah, we'll get onto that later on. City, Sterling, KDB looking on fire really, and Pep said that Sterling may start the season up front as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he is the middleman to start. I think obviously when Aguero comes back in, they could play him in like a 2 up front. And one thing they did last year at one point is they went 3-5-2 against Huddersfield.
Mm-hmm.
And I seem to remember, now this is not 100% fact, so don't take my 100% word for it, but I seem to remember Mendy still played, he just plays a left wing back. But I have a feeling Walker didn't play as a right wing back. Now, it might not 100% be true, but it just makes me think there's a chance that if they do maybe go 2 up top, that Sane could actually play into Zinchenko as the left-sided player. So obviously they're always tough to predict City, but I'm having a few with that comment. It can be seen as either it's going to be a 4-3-3 with what you'd probably assume is Sane again in this situation playing as the left wing and Sterling through the middle, and just Bernardo Silva on the right. But it's an interesting comment because obviously it'd be because Aguero and Jesus are back late, so it wouldn't shock me. And it doesn't change really my thoughts on Sterling that much. What it does do though is change my thoughts on other options and how they're going to potentially get more attacking chances.
Exactly. And then I've got 2 points to talk about position wise. First of all, Jonathan Stones.
Hmm.
Will he be the first choice centre back alongside Aymeric Laporte?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's a fairly good option. I think he's potentially a better option than Zinchenko. He has less attacking potential, but and he also could play. You know, when they play a 4-3-3,
Mm.
if it's late on in the game, they might also move him into the three in midfield as the holding one, which just gives them another chance to maybe get forward a bit. And I think he is going to be pretty nailed. And I just don't see anyone else starting at centre back. So I was thinking, could they maybe put Kyle Walker there or Danilo because they have played there before? But I just don't. I don't see why they would. We've learned from last year. City and Liverpool could not afford to drop any points because
Exactly.
of how close it was. And you look at their defender list. You got Laporte, Otamendi, Stones are really the only three centre backs because Mendy, Walker, Zinchenko, Angelino, Danilo, they're really right backs or left backs. Otamendi's going to be late back. Pep doesn't really like Otamendi, and everyone knows he would probably like to leave. I
Mhm.
think Stones is going to be pretty nailed, so I do not blame anyone for going there because I know you have gone there too, haven't you?
I have. I think from the comments Pep's made out saying, he's made mistakes in the past and now he's learning. I think Pep is putting a lot of faith in him, and I think he wants Stones to deliver. I mean, Stones, was it 50 million it was for him to go to City or something like that, and I think he's got to deliver on that soon.
Yeah,
And I think,
mhm.
and we saw at the World Cup as well, he had good goal threat. I mean, obviously that was all good times.
God
Oh,
man,
Trippier's free kick, just life peaked at that
that when
point.
Trippier was useful.
Oh, that one was useful. And then yeah, I think wait and see on Stones, and then yeah, let's talk about the Zinchenko thing. What
Hmm.
I think everyone's getting a bit over themselves because yes, Zinchenko looks like he might be nailed, but there's always Angelino. Mendy's obviously out of the picture for the moment 'cause he's injured, but Angelino is still going to be an option. Like he's going to be like a Danilo, same price, and he's going to be
Yeah, and
threatening.
I just think it's not like we're looking at, I don't know, say Kelly. We don't know if he's going to play, but at the end of the day, he's 4 million, so it doesn't really matter. And it's not that great defense. It's a decent defense, but I mean, this is one of the best defenses in the league, and I don't see why people are so worried about risking spending one extra million to just know you're getting in the defense.
Yeah,
Like,
I think so.
I don't think it's a big deal paying an extra million, or even actually, no, just an extra million to get in that defence and probably get more points, even if Zinchenko does play. I don't remember him getting many assists, and the one I remember him getting was just because Aguero, he did like a 2 yard pass to Aguero, and Aguero just absolutely leathered it from about 50 meters against Chelsea. So I'm not really a huge Zinchenko fan. I think there's a worry he might not play in the easier games. So I'm just And then the only time I think he is pretty nails, I don't see how. I think they'll play a fairly defensive team against Spurs,
Yeah,
so I'd expect him to play that. But I don't know. I'm just not sold if I'm being
yeah.
honest.
I agree with you. Let's go on to the Manchester counterparts of United. I think they've been look again. I want to say I'm sorry, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I got it wrong. I got it wrong again in
Did
our
you though?
league prediction
Did
table.
you though?
I did. I don't. I think that they look exciting. They look like they're going to do some damage. I think Martial is definitely overlooked. Obviously, there's Mason Greenwood in the frame potentially, but I'm not going to get too caught up on that. Daniel James looks very rapid. I think he could
Oh
be
mate, he's a speedy Gonzalez. I'll tell you
speedy
that.
Gonzalez. He is. He is.
He was getting absolutely pounced on by Spurs players. Like Jesus Christ.
I think, and also Wan-Bissaka looks a
Yeah, looks very good.
great addition to their defense. So I think United look exciting. I think Martial is the one player I'm really looking at because I think if he starts up top, he could cause some damage.
Yeah, well, I actually just made like a bit of a random team with my brother the other day,
Mm.
and we actually put Marshall in it, and I think it's a bit of a differential pick, so it's just why not? But he's actually not. The more I think about it, it's not actually a bad pick at all. He looks. I'd assume he'll play. It does. I'm not sure where. That is one worry. He's a little less tempting at left wing, but he's looking good in pre-season. He's scoring a few goals. I don't see why he'll be a bad option. But again, the fixtures don't. I think they have two quite tough ones to start.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm gonna again let them get through them and then go from there. But he's definitely one to look out for.
Exactly. Okay, and let's move on to Newcastle. I think, we were all a bit, they're going down, but I think, are they recovering? Are they recovering? I'm not sure.
I'm not sold. I'm gonna again wait and see on their and how they get going, but their fixtures aren't ideal. Joel Linton scored, and I think he'll at 6 million as a striker, he could become a good option. But for now, I'm not going near Newcastle. Richie is playing as a left winger. That is tempting, as he's a 5.5 defender. But again, it's no good if he's not actually doing anything from left wing.
Yeah, although he did get an injury last night, and Steve Bruce doesn't know the extent of it, so that
No,
might be something to look
no.
out for. Um, we then move on to Norwich. Now, this is just a contrasting club in terms of defence and attack. Attack, they're creating stuff. Pucky is getting on the ball, looking very promising. The fullbacks pushing forward, but then let's talk about that defence. They let in 3 to Brentford, and 4 to Atalanta last night. What are we thinking?
I sort of mentioned it earlier. They just look absolutely shocking defensively, and it's not. I mean, I was never looking at the defense anyway, and I was never really looking at Norwich. But what it does mean is we've got to target those fixtures, and I think that obviously affects Salah and people getting Liverpool players because you definitely want to get on that. And again, some other teams have like West Ham, Chelsea. They've all got Norwich, and their players that we might. You wait and see the first few weeks, and then you can literally just attack certain fixtures. I remember last year, if I ever saw a team had Cardiff or Huddersfield at home, or Fulham, really any of the three that went down, I was instantly looking at their players. And I think Norwich are going to be that team again this year, where we don't care about their options, but we care about what they do for other teams' options.
Great points, great points. And again, moving on to another promoted side, Sheffield, who are looking fairly strong in pre-season. Sharp is looking sharp. Well, all up on there. And then there's been a lot of hype around the 4 million Lundstram playing out of position. He got 2 assists. Everyone's raving about him. But apparently, according to lots of Sheffield United fans, they say that he won't start the season.
Yeah, I've seen that. I to be honest, I don't really know much about him, so I can't really say much. I hope he starts. It'd be a nice little option. But the thing with them is, if you actually look at their squad, they're beating, they're not really beating any good teams in preseason, and they just don't really have a good team. If you actually look at it, and I worry they're just so low quality that I think they'll just go straight down. They've got some decent I think they're decent-ish defensively as a team, not individually. So I don't think they're going to be a team that are going to just concede 5 or 6 every game. They probably will to the likes of City and so on, but I'm not going to look at any of their options unless they're really cheap. Robinson, the midfielder, I've seen in a few drafts. I have no idea how he's doing in pre-season. I've just seen him in a few drafts. He's priced at 5.5, and the fixtures they actually start okay. They're Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Leicester. They're not a bad 3, but I'd probably suggest people just to not go near Sheffield United.
Yeah, and I think also Henderson, they've now signed him again back on loan. He looks like a good option, I think, at 4.5 million, but I think everyone's like, oh my God, let's do a rotation with him. I'm like, I think wait until, because I think although the first 3 again, like you said, they're still fairly hard.
They're awkward, I'd say.
They're awkward. That's a good word. And then obviously they've got like a load of red after that. So I'm thinking I'm going to stay clear from Sheffield United for a good 8 game weeks, I think, and then just see how they do. Southampton looking exciting attacking wise with Che Adams and Danny Ings. What we thinking about them?
Just a little point on the last one we were talking about. It's interesting. I was just looking at our predictions. I've had Sheffield United last. You've got them 16th. You're backing them to do the business.
Yeah, I think they'll just
Anyway,
keep
yes.
goals out. Yeah.
Che Adams. I always hate the Southampton attack because you don't know who's starting. It's always a bit awkward, and they always get subbed off really early. But I'm interested in Che Adams. I'm just worried he'll go as a right wing. So he's another player. But the fixtures they're okay. They've got in the first four. They've got home to 2 top 6 sides, but they have nice away fixtures. If it was the other way around, I might be interested in just bench them. Because it's not. I'm probably going to wait and see who's playing where, see how they're shaping up under another pre-season with the new manager. I don't know if he is still new, but you know.
Well, it's his first full season, won't it be? First, so he'll.
So I am. Yeah. I'm interested, but I'm not buying for now. If I was going to get anyone, it'd be Chad was at 6. But
yeah. So,
I mean,
we've seen in pre-season Southampton 2 formations being placed. We had the standard, I think 5-3-2 they played with last year, and they also are playing with the 4-2-2-2, which I think that could be very interesting because if you say you have Adams and Ings up front, with Redmond or whoever it is on the left hand side, it looks like that team can just get goals. I think Austin's out of the picture because I think he's just getting on a little bit now. Shane Long's obviously going to be bench fodder, but I think Adams and Ings, they could construct a partnership unbeatable.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to be interesting. Again, it's going to be a team for me that will have a look at them, but I would not be shocked if they get going early doors. And that's another reason why Liverpool, I'm worried about defensively. Game week 2, I think they conceded to them last year, and I think they could again because they look good going forward.
Definitely. We go on to Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
So let's talk about
sex, baby.
We'll start. We're gonna start with Tanguy Ndombele. Bless you. Not you, Ndombele. So I think Ndombele. Let's talk about him.
All right, let's talk about him.
I love that man already.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite human beings of all time.
He's just unbelievable.
He's not going to get many FPL points, but again, he's one of those players that it's not what he's going to do, it's what he's going to do for others. Kane is already playing so much further forward.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes Kane a better option because when he's not dropping in, he just is a better option. We all know that. He's going to get in areas more, good areas. So, yeah, I just think his effect is looking good for the team and the attackers being able to stay attacking. And it could be the resurrection of Dele Alli if Dele Alli stops playing as a centre mid and gets back into his cam position. But again, we will see.
Exactly. And then another thing I want to talk about is the fullback situation. I want you to give me your pecking order for the left back and right back position because it's so up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen. I think Kyle Walker-Peters will start game week 1. I don't know game week 2 because if Aurier's back, I think he might play Aurier. I think game week 3, I think Foyth will actually play right back, and because I think Foyth will long term be the first choice, and Walker-Peters will just back up both left back and right back. So for me, I'm not going near that. I know you are, but there's so much worry about rotation that I'm not interested.
Yeah, I think, and also at left back, I was thinking that Rose it looked like he was going to leave, but then he played last night in the Audi Cup, so I think Rose and Davies will be vying for left back spot like last season. So yeah, I've got Walker-Peters. If you haven't seen my draft video, I have Walker-Peters at the moment. Purely for game week 1 and game week 2 because I just think he's going to be playing in both of them. But as I've said, my bench has options because I'm playing a 4-4-2. My bench has options which can cover in the event he doesn't play game week 3 and game week 4, and then I will look to ship him out in my wild card. So I'm not worried. I just got him in there because he's just I think Aston Villa at home, we should get a clean sheet in that.
Yeah, it is a good fixture to be fair to go for.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm literally just going for that fixture, and then because the thing is, when you got Den Donker on the bench, you could maybe return 3 points, maybe a little assist here and there. I think I might as well stick with him because in the fixtures he's rotating with, it's Burnley at home, Everton away. He could definitely get a attacking return. So yeah, I think we're all sorted on that.
Mhm.
Watford, relatively quiet in
Yeah, I'm
pre-season.
relying on you here because I've
Yeah.
barely seen their name in pre-season. So whatever stats you've got, you're gonna have to take this one.
So pretty much, they played QPR and they won 1-0. And Capu got the goal. I think Hughes got the assist. It was a very, very tame game. There's nothing really exciting. I think the one thing we have learned though is Craig Dawson would be the number one centre back. And my question to you, Ollie, is of the remaining centre backs, and you might want to get up the on the transfer page the Watford list. Who do you think is going to start alongside? Because we know Gracia likes to
Right,
play.
Craigie Cathcart, 100%.
You think it's Craig Cathcart?
He played literally he played so many minutes last year. He's a good defender. He's got aerial threat. I'm almost certain I've got him in my team. I think him and Hollebass, Dawson, and Kiko Firmane will be the back four,
Yeah,
and I'm pretty confident in that. And I'm actually quite tempted by them. I have no preseason form to go off. I'm going off the fact that they often start well and they've got some pretty good home fixtures, and then I can move them on. So that is all I really know on Watford. But again, I'm not a specialist in Watford, and I have not seen their name at all,
yeah.
which is a bit worrying when I look at Delafeu because apparently he's injured. But I don't know this either.
Mm. It's been quite on the low. But I think with Craig Dawson, we remember, and I remember the West Brom days of the goals he would get. Well, I would go mental at home. I think with Holdebass on set pieces as well. Dawson surely will get some attacking returns. I mean, I'm thinking he can get at least 2 goals this season. I think definitely.
Hopefully, yeah, but he's an odd cookie. He's a tough one to decipher.
Exactly. But I think yeah, Watford again, the fixtures they look okay for the first four, then quite hard. So I'm probably going to stay clear. I think I'm going to stay clear, and then I will go on to them later on. Let's talk West Ham.
Yeah,
Midfield minefield. What the hell
yeah.
do we do?
It's another one where there's so many good options. There's no point going for cover. Whoever's going to get the returns will get the returns. I've had Anderson a few drafts, but again, I'm gonna basically wait and see with West Ham. There are, like you say, I mean, there's Antonio's playing as a striker for a bit. Then Fornals looks good, Anderson looks good, Lanzini looks good. They all look good. No balls on penalties. It's always a tough one, but I'm gonna basically wait and see. I'm gonna see who looks like they're gonna be the point getter, and then when they go into their really nice fixtures, I know to be honest, they kind of start after game week 1, but 2 and 3 are both away, so I'm not seeing them as like unbelievable fixtures, but I will look at them probably from game week 4 when they have Norwich and Villa, and that's when I'll probably start to look at their midfield because their fixtures are pretty. I mean, if you look at them from 4, Norwich, Villa, Man U at home, which isn't too bad, Bournemouth, Palace, they're all right, Everton, Sheffield United, Newcastle, Burnley, they're pretty tempting. But again, you've got to see who are the point scorers, so I will probably wait and see with
Exactly.
them.
And Seb Haller as well. Clark has been saying people saying he's like the new Roberto Firmino. He will only boost the midfielders' potential. So I think yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's just a wait and see for West Ham to see who will be perfect. And then last team, Wolves look very solid in pre-season. Jota is on fire. Dendoncker
Diego.
is getting forward. But I mean, we know these things. But the one thing I want to pick up on is Adama Traore. Could he be the new right wing back? Because he played there in the Europa League, and lots of Wolves fans are saying, we didn't like Traore. He didn't suit the style of our football. But playing a right wing back, he just looked like a different player and was threatening throughout the game.
I think I think Doherty would just needs to get back from injury. I don't think it'll be that long. It's a nice little idea, but also, am I right in saying I'm just checking now? Charles a midfielder, so even if he was a wing back, it wouldn't make him any more tempting. I think Doherty that'll be his position like it was last year. It was very good for them last year. He's just got to recover from his injury.
Hmm.
I like the look of Jota. We haven't really seen much of Jimenez, so he's hard to go with. I think we are overlooking him in some ways because he is a very good player. But yeah, with Catrone coming in, it does also mean how will the strikers' minutes be? affected. Will they still start every game? Just come off earlier? Will they not start Europa League? Will they not start Premier League? We will sort of have to wait and see. Which I feel like I've said quite a lot this podcast, but it's a tricky situation.
Yeah.
Jota has looked very good. He scored against City and was in the Europa League.
Oh yeah, great guy in Europa League. Yeah.
I think am I right in saying their second leg's on Thursday this week?
Yes. Yeah.
And that will be their final game, I'd imagine, before the start of the season next
Mm-hmm.
week. So we'll get more information, more looks at them from there. I think Jimenez came on last time. I think he'll start this time.
Mm-hmm.
And we can, again, if he bangs a hat-trick suddenly, we'll poop it ourselves.
Exactly. I mean, I think there's gonna be a lot of rotation in the early weeks for Wolves. Obviously with Europa League, because I feel like they'll progress. Actually, to be fair, you say about the fixtures. If they get through, I have a sneaky feeling that they will have another game next week. I can't
really. I don't
think,
actually know that, to be fair.
I think so. Let me just do a little Europa League fixtures. So they've got the Crusaders, but okay, there's nothing at the moment. I can't see anything, but who knows? Who knows? We will have to just wait and see. So yeah, that's our pre-season roundup. I think very nice little video if you want to get a little roundup. I'd say on our channel we're not statisticians, okay, but we offer, we do read our stuff, but I think stats are sometimes a bit boring. You just want to have a couple of opinions and people can go off that. So that's what we do. Make sure to check out both our YouTube channels. I think Ollie has been, fair play to him. He's been ramping up the videos. He's delivering the content, and I love that from him. And make sure to check out our social media as well. I'll leave it on the page in front of you and in the description with the links. And yeah, game week 1. Oh, it's so close now. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm just so excited. So we will catch you in the next one.